Great to have you with us tonight here on ARC Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schnee. Wednesday evening, and a fine night it is, April the 23rd. Tonight, we're going to have a live conversation with the author of the Rio Grande Plan, which is a citizen-driven vision designed to improve the urban infrastructure of West Downtown Salt Lake. We will dive into this head first. But before we do so, got to welcome in meteorologist Sean Kelly with our first alert forecast. Fresh off the golf course this morning, and now we're getting some precip to move into the area.
Yeah, don't be alarmed if you have got a tee time tomorrow. You're good to
It's
go.
a lot of green,
there's
though.
going to be a few showers. Better chance actually tomorrow morning. The radar will look a little bit more active here. A lot of this not reaching the ground, and it's mainly in the form of some drizzle out there. So that's what we're dealing with right now. It looks like we've got one lightning strike just north of the Evanston area. So quick heavy downpour there. That's pushing up towards the north-northeast, and then back out towards the western part of the state, heading towards Wendover. You've got some light rain falling from the sky there, and again, a lot of this here up and down the I-15 corridor not reaching the ground, and mainly just bringing us some drizzle and some cloudy skies. But it's been a warm one. We were in the 70s today. Winds a little bit gusty. Northwest 14 miles per hour, 68 degrees. It's those northwesterly winds that we'll see through the day tomorrow that will cool down the temperatures, but not so much through the overnight. You don't need a jacket. Temperatures will be down into the 50s here, waking up to a low right around 48, 49 degrees. 30% chance of rain tomorrow. Lower chance on Friday, but then here we go again. We've got a better shot of some storms moving in Sunday into Monday. We could see periods of maybe even some heavy rain and even some snow across the mountains. We'll talk about the accumulations that we'll see and how that will linger into your work week next week. That's coming up, my first alert weather forecast.
All right, Sean, thank you very much. Glad to have a special guest with us tonight. This is Christian Lenhart, a civil engineer, has worked with the Utah Transit Authority, the Walt Disney Company, of course, represented there on the chest, the Rio Grande Plan, a vision to improve the urban infrastructure of the west side of downtown Salt Lake City. It's also the co-author of the original proposal of this plan that's been in the works for a number of years now. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
I know it's been a busy day for you. You had the press event earlier today, and you highlighted that promise, if you will, of delivering and bringing in over $12 billion in economic benefits to this area. That is a lofty plan. That is a lofty goal. What else did you discuss today?
We discussed more than just the economic benefits that will be returned to the state of Utah, but also the quality of life issues that the Rio Grande Plan will solve if we build it.
Tell us the plan. I mean, take us through the plan here, step by step. What is this all about? I know you've been in the work. This has been going on for a number of years, but you're making some pretty good strides, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, we're meeting a lot of politicians, people in decision-making positions who are able to really hear us out and give us good direction on how to make this happen. So the Rio Grande Plan is a way to eliminate railroad crossings in downtown Salt Lake City. We'd take the busy freight lines and passenger lines on the west side of downtown and we'd move them to the original passenger railroad corridor on 500 West. But we do it below grade in what's called a train trench, or a train box we're calling it. It's a space that's dug out of the ground and you put the road and streets back on top. It's not a cut and cover tunnel. Those are expensive. It's actually just building a bridge wherever there's a cross street. Some other cities have done this before. Los Angeles built a 10-mile long box, and Reno has one that's 2-mile long. We can build one here in Salt Lake City too. And by doing that, we'd eliminate up to 8 different railroad crossings that block people from moving east and west. And we could move the main train station in Salt Lake City from Salt Lake Central Station, where it is now on 600 West. We could put it back to the Rio Grande Depot on Rio Grande Street, 450 West, which was the original train station for Salt Lake City.
Yeah, it's a beautiful structure too. It would be a nice hub, I think, for a lot of things, again, to rejuvenate some of the things going on in that area. I know this is a citizen-led proposal. Has the city met you here? Are they interested in, and why wasn't this their plan, to be honest with you? I mean, why did it take the citizen proposal to get this working?
Well, it's just been a big daunting issue for many, many years about what to do with railroads crossings and train traffic in Salt Lake City. We approached, my friend and I, engineers and architects, we approached the City Council in 2021 with the Rio Grande Plan, a paper that outlined how to move the railroad tracks back to the Rio Grande Depot. And we've been met with interest from many different City Council members and people on the planning staff. We've had many discussions with Mayor Mendenhall. What's ultimately happened from the city is that they won a grant worth $2 million called the Reconnecting Communities Grant, which shows how we can bring communities back together by making improvements to transportation infrastructure. And the Rio Grand Plan fits exactly that alley. I don't know if the city would have applied for the grant the same way if this wasn't one of the possibilities that the study would recommend.
So how serious is the blocked crossing issue, which I think we've highlighted here at KUTV before, but from your eyes, how serious is the issue in the Salt Lake area right now?
I've heard from city council members and from many community members that it is the biggest issue facing the east-west divide. It is the biggest cause of east-west divisions in our city. Every single year there are fatalities as people get hit by the fast-moving trains or try and crawl through the blocked or stopped freight trains. And you'd think that for any other issue, if there was fatalities happening every single year on a very preventable cause of death, that we'd do something about it. But just because there's so many very large entities involved, railroads, State Department of Transportation, the city, it kind of falls between the nets, as it were, and doesn't get as much attention as it should. So it really is the place of the citizens and the people who live here, who call Salt Lake City home, to do something about it.
So where are we today? When will we see a shovel in the ground? What needs to happen to get this going to the point where the project is underway and we're seeing the big movement of actual change for what you've been pushing for years?
It'll probably take a little while longer. We just came out today with our economic numbers, which showed that the Rio Grande Plan, even though it costs several $billion to build, it will return $12 billion to the economy of the state of Utah. That's enough to increase our GDP by 2%, which it's not nothing. That's a lot of money. And that's the number that we hope will get the attention from legislators in our state, so that people can start pulling together plans of when we can do this, how we can get this done, bring people to the table that we haven't been able to reach, such as planners at the Union Pacific Railroad and others.
So what's next at this point? What's next in the process for you?
We're going to be meeting with our allies at the legislature again. We're going to be meeting with several developers, but mostly we're going to be reaching out to the public again. Now that the plan is getting so much more attention, we need everyone who is in favor of increased railroad safety and public transit in the state of Utah to write to their legislators and to let them know that you support the Rio Grande Plan and its goals of increasing public transit, the quality of it, and reducing railroad crossings and fatalities there.
Have you heard any sort of mixed review on this? It sounds like a pretty positive project all the way around when you factor in safety, efficiency, the look, everything. I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of pluses here. Has there been any sort of devil's advocate to the discussions?
You're right. It is a kind of a plan that really doesn't have a lot of downsides to it. I haven't seen a lot of other big infrastructure projects like the I-15 expansion that's going to happen north to Farmington. There's going to need to take several houses in order to widen the freeway that's already there, but the Rio Grande Plan doesn't do that. It uses public right-of-way. It doesn't demolish any existing housing. The only major complaint I've heard is that it costs a lot of money. And today we've brought the other half of that equation. Yes, it costs a lot, but you get a lot for your money.
Christian Lenhart with the Rio Grande Plan, kind enough to spend the evening with us here on ARC Salt Lake. Thanks for breaking all that down for us and kind of giving people an idea of what this could look like here in Salt Lake City.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on.
Still ahead here on ARC Salt Lake, looking into the Utah Firefighters Emerald Society. They're doing something to protect the late Corbin Summers of South Jordan Fire Department. On the other side. Welcome back. The Utah Firefighters Emerald Society began when several members of Unified Fire Authority who played the bagpipes and drums took their love of music and turned it into the first organized nonprofit firefighter band in the state of Utah. You may remember we shared a little bit more about this just about a week ago on 2 News at 10 o'clock. Now, another responsibility of the group is to physically have a member with a fallen brother at all times, so the mourning family knows their loved one is never alone. Captain Sam Christensen of UFA says he went to sign up to watch over Corbin Summers, a firefighter who was found dead in the station there in South Jordan due to a medical incident just 2 days ago. But there was not a single hour to fill for days. Take a listen.
Right now, there's somebody standing there with Corbin.
Yes. Yeah, I looked at a document today that was sent out by South Jordan Fire, and it's gone across the county to multiple agencies, and I went to sign up, and it's booked all the way until Saturday. So, and I noticed some names from our department. I noticed some names from South Jordan, from Salt Lake City, from all over the county. People are doing this. So they'll show up in their Class A uniform, tie, cap, suit, and they will stand there 24/7.
Does that take some of the burden off of the family right now? A lot of times the family feels the need to be present, to be there for their fallen. Does that take some of the burden off them?
I think, yeah,
That's my photographer right here. Yeah.
that's fine. I think yes, I do think it takes some of the burden off the family. They've got a lot going on as well. They're planning services, they're notifying family, they're getting ready for the next phase in this horrible tragedy. And, you know, it's not just the firefighters and the police officers who are considered family. We know each other's spouses. We know their children. We've watched them raise their children. We've seen some of their children become firefighters, you know, and continue that family tradition. And so, our families that stay at home, they are also our family. And so it's as if they're standing there as well while they're getting all these other preparations made, while they're mourning the loss. They know that somebody can be there to be with their loved one when they're unable to.
Why do you do this? I mean, this is a heavy burden. This is not something that's pleasant. You know, I imagine you have to take a lot of this stuff home with you at night. Why put yourself through it?
I put myself through it the same reason I do the job that I do. I love the communities I serve. And I love the people I work with. I have a huge respect for the job that we all do. And like I said earlier, we go through some things at work that are horrific, things that other people shouldn't see. And we've grown a bond together that is immeasurable. It's something that it's hard to explain. And I know a lot of people question, like, why would you do this? Why do you sacrifice your time for this? And it's because it's our family. We've grown so close together and been through so much together that we've created a bond that it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. And it's something that I became very passionate about, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. And I started being a member of the Honor Guard, and, you know, we've grown it into now we have a fire department honor guard. Each fire department has their own honor guard that represents their department. And it's now, we've got pipes and drums. We're now, Emerald Society has a huge band that travels all over. It's just something you become so passionate about because you want to show respect and you want to show your love for the job, the brothers and sisters you work with. It's like nothing. It's like no other job I've ever worked. So the sacrifice to me it's not a sacrifice. To me, it's a passion. It's a love for the job. It's a love and respect for the families of the fallen, and it's an endless love that we all have.
Salute to Sam and everybody, a part of the Emerald Society that does this out of the goodness of their heart as volunteers. Captain Christensen says it's an absolute honor to be part of the Utah Firefighters Emerald Society. If you would like to support them through joining the band or a donation, you can see the information on your screen, utahfes.org. Give them a look. Sean Kelly back with us here, taking a look at what's going on not only now, but kind of the long-term plan here for the next couple of days. Kind of a mixed bag at this point, where we've had some nice temperatures, but maybe getting some much-needed rain, it looks like.
Yeah, some rain. It's not going to be too beneficial. You know, we really could use it, especially down towards the southern half of the state. Not going to quite get that for the weekend, though. Sunday into Monday of next week, we're looking at a storm here that gives us the best shot that we've seen in quite some time. So that'll be nice to see. For now, we're dry up and down the Wasatch Front, though we do have some patchy areas of some drizzle. We're into the 60s and 70s, and it's been a pretty mild day, well above normal. The normal for this time of year is 64 degrees, and we're in the 70s today. Cooling down a little bit here from Ogden, Salt Lake City. We're into the upper 60s, 70 though still in Delta, 61 in Penguich, 65 Manti. Look at St. George there, still at a nice 80 degrees, and it's still windy from St. George through Milford. Delta seeing some 20 to 30, 35 mile per hour winds, and then a little bit gusty further up towards the north and west. Already seeing that wind shift out of the northwest. That'll bring the temperatures down a little bit tomorrow. You'll see not as breezy tomorrow, but look at this. As we get into Friday, winds will be pretty gusty as we get through Friday afternoon, where we could see some 30 to 35 mile per hour winds, and that will be a warm wind that will warm the temperatures back up from Friday and into Saturday. But yeah, the radar looks a lot more ominous than it actually is. We've got a shower and even a thunderstorm north of Evanston. Some patchy areas of drizzle up and down the I-15 corridor here along the Wasatch Front, but mainly in Brigham City into the Cache Valley area. You have the best chance for rain, and a little bit more steady rain into the Wendover area where it's light to moderate. We'll continue to see cloudy skies through the overnight. Some areas of some isolated showers tomorrow morning across the Wasatch Front. Another round by tomorrow afternoon and lunchtime. Could see some showers here north of Salt Lake City, heading up towards Logan. And then tomorrow evening, another round of some isolated showers here. Notice, though, it's north of I-70 that has the best chance for rain. Then we're dry as we get into Friday. Cloudy skies, still breezy but warm, and then dry again on Sunday. In terms of rainfall with this event, it's not going to amount to much, maybe up to 1/10 of an inch we're expecting. As I mentioned, dry Friday, dry Saturday. Saturday going to be the pick of the weekend. But here comes our next storm already on our doorstep as we make our way into Sunday. Mountain snow, high elevation above 7,000 feet with some valley rain showers. That continues on through Monday. Monday, we could see some good steady rain here across the Wasatch Front and areas along I-70. Maybe a little of some shower activity down towards the south and west. That mountain snow continues, and then it's out of here by Tuesday. So there's lows overnight, a little bit cooler. We're down into the upper 40s, but just a light jacket will be needed for a few hours tomorrow morning, and then we warm things back up into the upper 60s. So not as warm, but still above normal. We'll take it upper 60s with on and off showers, especially the further north you head. 70s and 80s down towards the south. 80s, of course, in St. George. It's breezy and windy in the days ahead. A little bit cooler as we make our way into the weekend, especially Sunday, and then a nice week ahead for next week. Along the Wasatch Front, we go from the 60s to the 70s, back down to the 60s on Sunday. Sunday, Monday, increasing rain chances, especially on Monday. Look at that drop down into the 50s, but then we warm up and dry things out Tuesday and Wednesday.
Thank you, Sean. Still ahead here on ARC Salt Lake. In 2005, he was a man at the zoo. 20 years later, he's part of history. The anniversary of the first video uploaded to YouTube. Former BYU star Jimmer Fredette is retiring from basketball. He made that announcement with a post on social. During his time in Provo, Jimmer was an absolute stud and led the Cougs to the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that's right. He also had a brief NBA career before playing overseas. Most recently, Jimmer played on the USA 3-on-3 basketball team at last summer's Olympics in Paris.
So 20 years ago today, history was made. The very first YouTube video was uploaded called Me at the Zoo. A 19-second clip features YouTube co-founder Javid Karim in front of an elephant exhibit. He was 25 years old at the time. He's also one of the company's 3 founders, all of whom previously worked at PayPal.
Yeah, YouTube was a very fast success. Just 18 months later, it would be sold to Google for $1.65 billion worth of stock. Google doesn't share how many videos are on YouTube. Estimates range from about 3 or 4 billion all the way up to 14 billion. That's a big difference right there. I know there's a whole lot of...
Are you a big YouTube watcher?
You know, I like it on my smart TV. It gives me
okay.
suggestions, mainly like some real estate houses. And,
Okay.
And some
That's
some
how
show
you get your
theories.
market advice.
Yeah, yeah.
Good to know where it all comes from. Have a great night. ARC again tomorrow night at 7.